Do you remember baby Gronk? What happened to him after he rizzed up Livy Dunn? Throughout history, young athletes have become instant sensations and set off huge hype trains, only to disappear into the tunnels of obscurity and awful things like being normal. Let's take a look back and see how everyone turned out. The ultimate young athlete Where Are They Now video is coming up right after this. Pickmas may be over, but let me tell you, there's still much NFL action to be had on Prize Picks. Use my code 5points and all first-time users on Prize Picks will receive an instant deposit match up to $100. If you deposit $69, Prize Picks will give you $69. Nice. What you do is pick 2 to 6 players and then decide if they will get more or less of their Prize Pick projection. You can win 25 times your money on any entry. This week, I have Dak rebounding against Detroit, Josh Allen over against the Pats, and Matt Stafford over against the Giants, who suck. Prize Picks is always running new and exciting promotions like Taco Tuesday, Flex Fridays, and more. Your money is safe and can be easily withdrawn, and don't forget, these are the eligible states. So, after this video, first-time users go to prizepicks.com or download the app from the link below and use my code 5points for a 100% deposit match up to $100. Again, that's promo code 5points on Prize Picks. Allison Stokey. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, one picture of Allison Stokey costs way more than 1,000 of something in most young men, and trust me, it won't words. This was probably the first picture of a hot chick to go completely viral. Well, outside of Rita Hayward. This shot was taken in 2007, and Stokey, who was 17 at the time, was all of a sudden plastered all over the internet, and horny men of all ages drooled at their laptops like hungry dogs before feeding time. Allison was born in Newport Beach, California, and had taken up pole vaulting her freshman year of high school. This photo was taken at a track meet her senior year, posted to a website, and her life changed forever, and not often for the good. She was suddenly hypersexualized and followed by the media, and she legitimately wasn't excited about all the attention. What's been lost in the hype around her looks was the fact that she was actually a very competent and accomplished athlete. She then went on to attend Cal on a pole vaulting scholarship, set some school records, and did try out for the US Olympic team in 2012, falling short. After her athletic career, she modeled and worked with GoPro, showcasing her athletic prowess on YouTube. She then met PGA golfer Ricky Fowler in 2017, and they were married in 2019, proving several cliche idioms about hot chicks and guys with money in the process. Now, he's like Walmart Zac Efron. Tamir Goodman. This is one of my favorite stories of absolutely unnecessary hype to occur for really no good reason. Born in 1982, Tamir Goodman was 16 when a Baltimore newspaper dubbed him the Jewish Jordan. To be fair, the 6'3" guard was absolutely tearing up the floor, averaging 35 points a game his junior year, in the private school league, mind you. And Goodman, an Orthodox Jew, did this all with his yarmulke on. How insulting was it that a redheaded kid was out there crossing people up while his head cover didn't even separate once from his head? Once that article hit and the catchy nickname stuck, all of a sudden the hype train was underway. Goodman had rules about playing on the Sabbath and was remarkably humble and set forth modest expectations for himself throughout the whole hype process, stating that playing D1 basketball was his only real goal. He finally agreed to play at nearby Towson, who was more flexible on his religious requirements than Maryland College Park, who he originally committed to. He was okay in college, averaging about 6 points per game. But then again, playing D1 was his goal, and he once remarked he was buying Jordans just like everyone else. After college, Goodman would go on to have a 6-year pro career in Israel, which eventually ended due to injury, then stayed and now lives in Israel, coaching and teaching youth basketball. He has 5 kids. Monae Davis. Little League baseball is amazing. It's one of the last highly competitive events where boys and girls can be on almost a level playing field. Well, not in the case of Monae Davis, who in 2014 captivated America by mowing down the boys like they were overgrown grass. Monae became the 18th girl to play in the Little League World Series, the 6th to get a hit, and the first to ever toss a shutout, throwing 70-mile-an-hour Ched. Davis, who hailed from Philadelphia and was born in 2001, landed on the cover of Sports Illustrated, the first Little League athlete to ever do so. Though Davis and her team fell short in the semifinals, her performance was inspiring. After the Little League World Series, Davis pivoted to softball and played at Hampton University as an infielder for 2 seasons. After college, Davis has appeared in many televised events as a broadcaster, working with the MLB Network, ESPN, and most recently the Los Angeles Dodgers, but not as a broadcaster. According to the LA Times, she is interning, learning the ropes with the video production and social media teams. Davis has stated she someday wants to work in the front office and help the Dodgers spend billions of dollars on free agent Danny Almonte. On the flip side, there's a less feel-good story, probably one of the biggest scandals to ever rock the Little League World Series, an event with an impeccable reputation that has never, ever been involved in such nefarious cheating. The year was 2001. A left-handed pitcher named Danny Almonte was throwing so much gas, OPEC was concerned prices would get disrupted. Representing the Bronx, Almonte was throwing 79-mile-an-hour darts and absolutely blowing the doors off poor little 12-year-old kids he was facing. Danny immediately became a national sensation and then went out and threw a perfect game. The problem? Yeah, he wasn't 12. I mean, there were some hints given the fact that he drove himself to the game, shaved in the dugout, and had a wife and freaking kids. Just kidding. See, Almonte was actually born in the Dominican Republic and had showed up that summer with a handwritten birth certificate that was shadier than an elm tree. Once a few calls were made, turns out Almonte was actually 14 at the time. Yeah. Kinda unfair. The scandal broke and the Bronx Little League team was forced to forfeit all their wins, though thankfully this happened after the World Series had concluded, with the team actually losing in the semis. Almonte would play his high school ball in New York and then play in JUCO for 2 seasons before playing a season of indie ball in 2007, then returning to JUCO in 2008 for Western Oklahoma State College, where he put up a fantastic year as a pitcher and a hitter. Unfortunately, he was never drafted, as he was ironically seen as too old at the time. Almonte hung up the cleats in 2010 and is now an assistant high school baseball coach for Cardinal Hayes High School in New York City. Freddy Adu. If there was ever a case of a young athlete being way overhyped and subsequently not living up to the hype, at the top of that list, you will find Freddy Adu. Adu was just 14 when he signed with DC United of the MLS in 2006 and was being dubbed the next Pele. I mean, he kind of looks like him. It seemed back then that the marketing machine that is the MLS wanted to try to go the young route instead of serving as the soccer world's retirement home. Leo Messi. Adu, who was born in Ghana, came to America in 1997 and played football in Maryland as a youth. And then after a strong showing in an international U14 tournament, he got interest from the MLS. The hype train was underway for the young, naturalized Ghanaian. That's how you say it. It's not Ghanaian, though I wish it was Ghanaian. Adu broke several records in the MLS, all pretty much age-related. He became the youngest pro player in America, the youngest to play an MLS game, and the youngest to score a goal. That would be pretty much all the records he would break. After 3 years in MLS, he went international, becoming a journeyman for teams like Benfica and Jagiellonia, I probably said those wrong, along with a few bounce backs to America. He did play on the US national team, making 17 caps and scoring only 2 goals. Though he hasn't officially retired from soccer, he last played in 2021. He never even came close to the hype. He's now 36 and has expressed a desire to still play. However, he wants to mentor young athletes and possibly coach. He also says he regrets not putting in the work and a few bad decisions along the way. Baby Gronk. Baby Gronk is an 11-year-old football player. Just kidding, I don't care. Let's revisit this in 20 years when his dad has completely ruined his life and we're watching his 30 for 30. Real quick, before we get to the last young athlete, where are they now? Quick shout out to Bryce Harper, who has been in the spotlight since age 12 and has absolutely lived up to, if not blown away, the expectations placed on him from a young age, and has done it in a well-adjusted, non-Justin Bieber type of way. Props to him, and LeBron James pretty much did the same thing. And finally, Michelle Wie. Look, in a lot of these cases, many of the young athletes weren't looking for the instantaneous hype that came with being a child prodigy. In the case of Michelle Wie and her parents, they were all about that shit. Born in 1989 in Hawaii, Michelle Wie was the daughter of 2 South Korean immigrants. In true Asian fashion, Wie qualified for the USGA Amateur Championship at age 10, while also in med school and running 2 successful businesses. Okay, the first part is true, but once word got out that a kid was balling on the links, you know the rest. Before the age of 15, she made an LPGA cut, played in PGA Tour events against the men, and then qualified for a USGA event again against the dudes. And she was hanging with them. Sort of. We turned pro at age 15, unprecedented. She also pushed for and received several exemptions that many thought were for marketing only, fired a ton of caddies, and very publicly challenged the men and came up short. There is a happy ending though. Wie, after rehabbing a wrist injury, joined the LPGA Tour permanently in 2009 and retired just this year, enjoying a 14-year career where she won 5 tour events and the US Women's Open in 2014. Awesome. In 2019, she married Johnny West, Jerry West's son, which makes sense. She's 6 foot tall. The couple has a daughter. Though she was what we can all define as a successful pro and a competent athlete, Wie is a cautionary tale of early hype around a young athlete and that there are no guarantees of success in life. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So if you have a kid that's good at something, just let them have fun. And if they are good at it, be a good parent and post the reels of them on Instagram. I'm 5 Points Vids, and you made it to my next video.